Okay, I wanted to give everybody the big takeaway from last Tuesday's seminar. The big thing we talked about was stress. And we talked about just like in the brain, you build sleep pressure through breaking up ATP throughout the day. You use ATP throughout the day. Adenosine builds up in the brain, which creates sleep pressure. So you have a buildup of adenosine in the brain, and that pressure is what makes you tired. Similarly, over here, stress builds up in the body and in the brain. And when this happens, it's important to recognize that the brain, being only a few pounds, but using 20% of the body's energy, is objective. It doesn't care about what your goals are. It doesn't care if you want a six-pack. It's just trying to survive. And it senses stress. And if you were a brain, and if you sensed stress, you would want to feel better quickly. So it wants to create a state change. The state change that it craves is dopamine driven. So what things are, what does that look like? It looks like sugary, salty, fatty foods. It looks like scrolling on Instagram. It looks like anything that people are addicted to in order to get them to feel better. And this is why you see it mostly at night. So you go through a stressful day, and by night, you have all these urges, cravings in order for this state change to occur. Now, the big thing is how do we reduce these urges? How do we reduce these cravings? And we relegated it to three basic things. And what I really wanted to highlight in the seminar was for you to recognize how bad we have gotten at these three basic things. Number one is sleep. Number two is breathing. And I explained in the seminar how both of these things are related, sleep and breathing, meaning how you breathe when you sleep and how you breathe during the day, how dysfunctional this is. You're taking about 25,000 reps of these a day. It's a good idea to be good at it. And just as a general rule, society is horrible. And this absolutely leads to part of the problem. So you're underslept, you're breathing poorly. And my third point was, we could call it many things, but I called it attention or focus. And this is massively underappreciated. And if I were you, I would go back and listen to the middle of the seminar where I'm talking very specifically about attention, because how that affects stress is mind-boggling, your ability to attend to what you're doing. So just notice that society today, we're talking about ADHD, we're talking about poor breathing mechanics, we can't sleep. And by the way, this is all part of the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest system. So we can't digest, we can't sleep, we're not breathing properly, we have all these ADHD medications. We're talking about a totally normal pathway of the body where stress builds up, the brain doesn't care, it just wants to change state. So you have these desires to go ahead and do these things that you do. And what happens is we tend to be very hard on ourselves, but it's really the brain just wanting this state change. And like I said, if you were a brain, you would do it too. What we have to do very consciously, part of the aspect of attention here, we have to consciously choose something different. The only way to do that is to create better habits. And that's what these seminars are all about. That's what the UTC has been all about for a couple decades now. And I'm always trying to hit it at different angles to show you different things. But if you did not listen to that seminar in full, you should, because there was a lot of nuggets in there.